Okay, so we are back. Here I am standing up for our last session for our fall kickoff training, and I'm gonna just do really quick the what it looks like to promote to team leader. So it's you plus 2 people. It could be 2 people you recruit, or it could be 1 person you recruit plus an additional, plus someone they recruit, okay, with a total team volume of 3,500, and each of you has to be doing a minimum of 300 or 3,500, right? Did I say that? So a total team volume of 3,500, and then each of you has to be doing a minimum of 350, and the 350 is what's considered bonus qualified, okay? So what I mean, it's so easy if you really think about it, because pretend this is a calendar, my messy calendar. If you leave, basically, the average party is $560 for the whole company average. So let's pretend your average is 500. That means you're doing 7 parties a month at $500 per party is going to equal $3,500 in sales. And that's 7, so you're leaving the house 7 times, but that's divided by 3 people. So that's like crazy doable and easy. If you're planning on doing 2 parties a week, we were just talking about that you actually are going to be at $4,000, probably minimum, you know, because the average party around here tends to be a little bit more than that, it seems like. But if you're just going on the low average of 500, if you're doing 2 parties a week, you're hitting your team leader volume by yourself every month, and you just need 2 people on your team at least. Basically, 2 people doing 1 party a month each. You know what I mean, is what it boils down to. Of course, you're excited if you find business builders who are going to do more than that, but you can really carry the volume yourself with your own parties. So the other beauty of our business is that you can have parties in December that their workshop orders are going in November. There's not a lot of other businesses where you're getting volume for the next month's business ahead of time. So, okay. So I wanted to just go over that because I knew some of you had, some questions on that. I want to show you really quickly the system I use for organizing my parties. This is something I just came up with kind of, because I was starting to feel like I had party stuff here and there, and I was afraid I was going to like lose somebody's something. So in the MRC, you can get this sheet. It's a, I think it's called a workshop registration sheet, something like that. You can organize your party information on here. When I started, we had to actually collect credit card information from everyone and hand enter that in. There's some other ways to get payments now where you don't have to do that, but it was like I had everybody's credit card, their whole life. I had to have like their billing address and all that stuff. So it was really important to have it like organized in a safe place. But now I use this, I still use it. And then as people, this is like one that's already been put in. So as people place their orders online, I just write the workshop they chose and their order number. So I kind of have it organized. That way I can check in with my hostess and say, so far, Heidi, Megan, and, this happens to be Katie's sheet. That's funny. So yeah, so far these ladies have ordered their kits, are there other people that you're waiting on that you haven't heard back from, that type of thing, and kind of keep track that way. I also make notes around like the margin, like when I submit the order, because even though they order online, you still have to actually submit it. You have to push submit for those orders to go through. So I keep track of, I don't know what I have on this one, but I don't know why it's not written up there, but usually I put order submitted on such and such a date, order number, and then a lot of times I'll put like the commissionable volume of that party so far, so that I know, once I add her orders from the party to that, what her total is going to be roughly for host credit, when I leave, and I can give her an idea. But I just make notes all over this. If I do like a Mad Mimi invitation, I've been writing that at the bottom, like Mad Mimi and email sent with the date and check mark. I kind of use this almost as my host coaching organizer. It's kind of gets a little bit sloppy around the margins, but it works for me because that party information is all on one page. And you could always write on the back if you need more space. So I like these. I'm a little old fashioned and like to have a piece of paper with my information. I can't have everything in the computer or else I feel like I don't know what's going on. But then I have these plastic see-through envelopes from Staples. And you can just order a pack of 12 or whatever. Well, this the little button's fallen off of, but usually you can kind of close it up like this. But whatever the case is, I like it because I just put this sheet inside, and then I can see it, through the envelope. And then when I go to the party, I get my order forms, my surveys, and I just stuff everything in that envelope for that party. So I basically make a plastic envelope for everybody as soon as they book a party. And then I keep track of when their registration deadline is. I write that stuff in pink at the top so I can kind of, so it stands out a little bit more. So then it has their registration, you know, their name, their party date, registration deadline. And now I'm just letting people pick whatever kit they want to make at the party. So I just put any for the menu choice. But, and then I can maybe, did she get to see that?
My mom? Yeah, she saw it. She was asking if I use it, but I use the Google Forms.
Yeah, well, you're techier than me, Karen.
I love the Google form.
You guys can do that too, and I think there could be.
It's free.
Yeah. But see these little thingies I have on my wall? So I have my whole dining room table is full of parties right now because I have more parties booked than I ever have in my life. But normally, if they booked a party and they're inviting their guests, and I'm waiting for all their orders to come in, then I put them here. Once I submit the workshop order for the party, I move them here. I know this might be really old-fashioned, but I'm a visual, and I like to have like something tangible. So this works for me. I order these from IKEA. They were super cheap. And then after the party takes place, I move them here. Like I've already submitted all the orders from their party. They just go here for a little bit of time, basically till I need that envelope for another party, and then I take them out and move them on. But if you guys like that system, that's just what works for me. So that gives you a little bit of a visual. To me, though, this is really handy to have everything in like an envelope or something. Even if you do Google Forms, you could still
print it out.
You could print it, put it in that envelope, collect the survey, and order from. Because then I feel like this whole party is like together, and I grab these if I'm going out of town or if I'm gonna get some work done or in the car. Or, you know what I mean? You have some time where you're sitting. I just grab that little packet and take it with me. It's really nice.
What was the name of that form? With everyone's contact.
Fraser. Yeah, it's like a registration. I think you could type registration into the MRC.
Okay.
I was thinking I was on there, but I'm not actually on there. I have my other computer right here. Just type in registration form or something, and then you'll see it. And it's actually an Excel spreadsheet, so you can change the different categories on there. I want to actually have my daughter just spruce it up because you don't need the address for every customer who comes, so you could actually eliminate that and have more room for more names on that sheet. And then I thought at the bottom I could have her create something that was kind of my host coaching checklist for that hostess, like send Mad Mimi invite, send like did check in, a week later, like those things that you want to be doing with your hostess. I kind of want to have it all on one sheet. That would make me really happy. The host coaching checklist is actually a separate sheet where you list all your hostesses, and I'll post that. I tried that once, and for me, it just was another thing for me to have, another piece of paper to keep track of. So what I think works well, this is what Jacqueline does, she might use that checklist too. I don't know, but let's say I have that registration form, whether you have it all pretty, if I have my daughter fix that up one of these days, or even if you're just making notes on it, then you can say, you want to contact that hostess like a week later or a few days later. It just depends on how much inviting time she has, okay? But let's say she only has a week to invite people. You want to be, you're calling her for that initial one. That phone call is very important if you do that voice-to-voice phone call. Then you're checking in with her, a few days later, and then you're going to check in with her one more time, like the day before the registrations are due, so she can send out one more reminder to her friends. Make sure she's not just doing a Facebook event and thinking that's going to work. That's going to be okay for a secondary form of inviting or just to get the word out, but they're going to get about 2 people to come to their party from a Facebook event. If they're lucky, they'll get 2 people. Most of the time, it really needs to be through a personal invitation, whether it's a voice-to-voice or a text or email. Maybe email works better for teachers, possibly because you guys have that big group there, but I don't know. Email's even kind of gotten to be like one of those things where you get so much email you can't even keep track of them. So I feel like a personal call or text is probably the best, and then you can do that Facebook event in addition, and you can post things on there to get people excited and stuff. But when you're doing all those little check-ins, if you put those on your calendar, you write it on your calendar. So you talk to Sally, she booked her party, you want to check in with her say that's Monday, you want to check in with her on Wednesday, and then maybe her registrations are due the following Monday, so you want to check in with her on like Sunday to do one more check-in and reminder. Just write Sally on your calendar. And I'm not that good at doing this, but I know it's a good system because I know other people do it, and this is part of my New Year's resolution. I guess I'm getting close enough to January to try to be better at this. But I use my calendar like for everything. Whoops. And so it's really sloppy, but I do use pencil so I can erase sometimes. But what I'm going to do is, like, as part of my connections each day of reaching out to people, host coaching is going to be part of that. It's very important. It's an important step not to skip, because I think we all want to go for more bookings and we want to go for recruits. But if you're not getting a good attendance at your party, then you're missing a big opportunity at that party that you already have on your calendar. So if you know that you're going to make your calls, then you could have it organized that on this part of your calendar that I never use, this could be where you list the names of the people that you're going to, like you're going to be checking in with Sally. You could put Sally host coach, like you could put like HC next to her name. You're going to be host coaching. Then you're going to be reaching out with Betty because she had interest in the business and you scheduled a follow-up appointment. You know what I mean? So use this as like the detailed part. You know, on here, it's like maybe you're going to time block. I'm going to do my calls in the afternoon, or I'm going to do them in the morning, or whatever you're doing your connections each day. But then who you're connecting with could go on this part. So that's something that in my brain, I like think that makes sense. And that's a really easy system that's doable. So that's what that's my goal. I just have so many parties booked right now. I'm like treading water to keep up because I did that whole Lewiston thing, and it's like, I think Molly's still on here actually. Yeah, so I've got Molly and then another rep in Lewiston. And so between the two of them, you know, especially if they know people, I'll just pass on that stuff to them because I'm not going to keep traveling on those roads. But anyways, I think that's a really good doable system for your parties and then keeping up with your host coaching. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, okay, I'm going to show you this system since we're talking about systems. Follow-up system for the surveys from your party, okay? Mm-hmm. This is my friend Carissa Perzo's system. I have not fully, okay, I'm making sure we're recording. I haven't fully implemented it, but I put these in here so that I would have a good visual for you guys. But it is a really good system. So you're going to want to keep this in mind if you've been to my parties. I haven't been good at this at all. And like Karen, you were mentioning too, like you feel like you need to be better at follow-up. It's like, gosh, it's almost like you just have to time block for that and make it a part of your schedule. And I know it's a huge important step too. It's kind of like that host coaching, just really getting, just making that part of what you do. So after your party, you should send some sort of a thank you email. I usually always text my hostess thanking her and maybe send her a picture that I took at the party or something. Or I'll post it on Facebook thanking my hostess on Facebook and post the party like, oh, it was so much fun meeting you guys or whatever. But then you do want to possibly send that same kind of thank you email to everybody who came to the party with some information like a link that they can place any additional orders. Maybe they didn't order at the party, but they still want to order. You could put the link to order there that's connected to the tasting party, you know, that you've linked to their freezer meal workshop. I'll teach you about the order stuff, Amy. I know that is like lingo that you're not used to hearing yet, but that's really nice. You can create that tasting party link and they can just click on that to order anything additionally. And you could also include the Make Fresh specials for the month in there. And honestly, including the different workshop menu sheets, maybe put that in the email as well so that you're just saying, you know, hey, if you're interested in booking in the future, you want to make more meals, I want you to have those menu choices handy. Here's the Make Fresh special for the month that we talked about last night. Maybe include all the documents that are in your folder. And honestly, it's one of those things where you make the email once and then you can just keep, you know, you just change the information. You change the monthly special every month and then just keep, you know, just remake it. It was nice to meet you at so-and-so's party. Just change the name or whatever. You could also include the hostess's app referral code if you want to. Or what I've been doing lately is saying to the hostess, do you want to just text your, once you download and install the app, just text your friends, text everybody who is here with your referral code so that they can get it too. But if you use a little chalkboard thing at your party or something, you know, that's great. But just kind of wanting to get that app code out to people. And it feels like this like 2-day email could be a really efficient way to do everything. It's just getting it part of your routine. You know what I mean? I think it's like I started the gym last week. Like going the first time was like the hardest part. Like walking through the door, I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown thinking about it the night before. Like I seriously was like, I want to back out of this. But I'm so glad I went. But it's like, it's just you, and then now it becomes a part of your routine. So that's what I think has to happen is like you time block in for these different business activities that are really, really important to business successful. I feel like I probably missed, I don't even know how many people by not being really good about following up. So, you know, you can not be really good about it and still be pretty successful in the business, but it's a better way to do it if you are not missing anybody. I feel like people slip through the cracks when you're not doing a good job following up. So you're going to do your 2-day thank you email, okay? And that's where you might just have these surveys at the front of your thing. Maybe you just hole punch them in. Danae, who lives in Ellensburg on my team, she actually found like a smaller 3-ring binder that fits these. But I could not find dividers that matched. You know what I mean? So this is how Krista does it. So I was like, this is fine because if you wanted to ever put any notebook paper in here for different notes or whatever, you could have that too. Or maybe even if you wanted a calendar, if you kind of have to make the systems your own, what works for you. So whatever you decide to do. But she has the month tabs and then she has the alphabetical tabs. Okay. And after you do this 2-day email, which is like basically a thank you. Let me look here. I'm gonna post something for you guys about this too. So you don't need to be too nervous about taking super detailed notes, but just know you're gonna have like your 1 to 2 day post-party thank you, text or email, and then you might want to email because you're gonna include your Make Fresh flyer, your app referral code for your hostess, the party link, maybe your upcoming open dates just so that you can put them out there in case they change their mind and they want to host, you know, if they didn't already book, and then the business information. So essentially everything that's in your demo page protectors or folders. So then you've done that 1 to 2 day post-party email. Then you're going to take these guys out because you're going to maybe hear back from some people.
Sorry.
You might hear back from someone from the party who was like, gosh, I made my husband that dinner last night. He loved it so much. I posted something on Facebook and all my friends are like super curious about this. I might actually be interested in hosting after all. You know what I mean? So you might get some feedback from people who didn't book at the party, but they might because you sent that email. So then you're going to move these people. If someone is booking a party, they come out of the stack, okay? Because you're going to start working on their party with them. But if all these people who didn't book parties, you did the 1 to 2 day follow-up, now you're going to move them. So right now we're on November 4th. So I would move them to 2 weeks, which this is what got me on systems. Other people had it down to the day, like exactly the day you're going to follow up with them. And then if you don't follow up with them on that day, you feel like your whole system went in the garbage. And then I just quit doing the system. So I'm just like, I want it to be give me a little more slack here with this thing. Mm-hmm. So in 2 weeks, it's still going to be November. Okay. So you're just going to move to the November section and you're going to put them in November. But the trick is you're going to put their names on your calendar and you are going to put their names on the day that you're going to follow up with them. So like, whatever it is, somewhere in there. Okay, so you're going to write their names, Corey, Maria, Riley, blah, blah, blah. You're going to write them here that you're going to be following up with them on that day. But the beauty of this is if life happens and you can't get to them that day, big whoop, put an arrow and follow up with them the next day. You know what I mean? This is your calendar. It's like you can rearrange it. And you'll be seeing this whole at a glance. So you'll be able to be like, okay, my calls have gone in the toilet. Like it's Thursday. I'm just going to pound it out and get caught up on that whole week because I just didn't get to it on the days I had set out. It's not that big of a deal. It's more important that it happens than that it happens on that specific day. But what's nice about the 2-week follow-up that I've been absolutely horrible about, but I can tell you this system is Carissa Perezzo's system. She is tops in our company in sales almost every single month. She sold like $10,000 worth of Wild Tree the same month she gave birth to her baby. Like, she's amazing. She said her secret is amazing customer service. She does host coaching is her number one priority every single day when she makes her calls, and she follows up with everybody. And this is her system. Like, I was like, Carissa, what do you do? Like, how do you do follow up? Because whatever you're doing is working, and I just want to do what you're doing, you know? And I loved it that her system wasn't so detailed that you couldn't have a little bit of slack in there. You know what I mean? So then after you do the 2-week follow up, so 2-week is going to be great because you're going to check in. How are you liking your meals? This is going to be an individual follow-up, okay? So this is probably going to be a text will be most beneficial. Hey, Chris, just checking in to see how you're liking your meals and see if you have any questions. It's going to be geared from a place of service. Like, you're checking in to see if they have questions, if they need anything else, if they need help or whatever. And then they're going to be like, oh my gosh, we're almost out of meals. Like, I need to have some more. I'm so glad you reached out to me. Like, maybe I'll have a party or something. Or they might be like this. I haven't eaten any of them. I'm saving them because I don't want to use them because I feel like they're gold. I'm like, oh gosh, please use your meals. That's what keeps me in business. If you're eating your dinners, you know, or make a joke or whatever. But it's like, don't save them. Oh my gosh, this is part of your grocery budget. Eat your meals. And then you can make more. It's not like you can't make more meals again. So it's a really important time to reach out because chances are they probably have eaten some meals. If they haven't, you're glad you're catching them at the 2-week point. And it's not like they're going to be fresh in their freezer for the rest of their life. Like, they should probably want to eat them within at least a few months, I guess, of making them or something. So that's your 2-week check-in. And then and that's going to be coming from a place of service, but hopefully from there, I feel like you'll definitely get some bookings, you know, from people. And they might even say, my friends are just they're so jealous, this and that. And you might have an opportunity depending, like, hey, have you ever thought about this? Like, the business opportunity, like, if you have that many friends that are loving Wild Tree, maybe you know, what would you think about learning more about the business opportunity, you know, because they already sort of have a customer base if their friends are all excited. Oh, no. And then you could talk about, well, then maybe, you know, maybe hosting a party would be great. It sounds like you would really be helping your friends out if you hosted so they can get meals in their freezers too. So that's a great check-in, really, really important. And then 2 months later, it's basically just like the 2-week check-in. So at the 2-week check-in, let's say that Chris was like, oh yeah, I need more meals. Like, that was awesome. My friends want to do it too. I'm going to host a party. Okay, her slip comes out. She becomes her own party, goes in your plastic envelope or whatever system you want to do. Get her going on that. These people are like, thanks for checking in. That was so nice. I think I'm good for now, but I'll let you know if I need anything. Then you could say to them, how would you feel if I checked in with you in a couple months just to kind of see if you need anything or have any questions? Then they might say, oh, sure, no problem. That'll be great. And then you might get some people who say, I think I'm good. Like, if I need anything, I'll just reach out to you. So at that point, the person who said they'd reach out to you, actually, to be honest, they all go into the ABCs. No, I'm lying. The two
I gotta go.
Okay.
So, but I will get this all off.
Yeah, we're gonna go through the CSFs and the gold card after this, and then we're gonna be done. So.
Okay, I'm sorry, I gotta go off.
Thanks for being on.
Okay, bye, Yota. Thank you.
Bye, Diane. Oh, they're gone. Oh, now you guys got bigger. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to talk so fast that it was like I was almost losing my train of thought. At the 2-month point, you will put them back into the month. That makes sense for them. And then you'll put their name on your calendar so that you know what's going on. I keep notes on the back of my surveys until I haven't followed up with these people. But I just keep notes about things like texted, whatever. If you're having like a customer appreciation event or another tasting down the road, you can just go through and invite all your customers. I've never thrown away a single survey in 3.5 years. So I have a big giant stack of like, what do I do with all these? So I'm going to try to just start little by little implementing, starting with my new customers and then implementing my old customers back into this follow-up system. But if they say, no, thank you, I'll just reach out to you if I need anything, you could probably just put them in the alphabetical section of the little binder. And then that way, when you are having a customer appreciation event or maybe some special comes or we do a Facebook party again, or something like that, you'll just maybe go through those customers back there that they've purchased from you before, but they were going to reach out to you if they were interested in anything else. And, you know, maybe once a year you kind of reach out to them. And if they're just like, no, thanks, I'm not interested in Wild Tree anymore, just, I guess at that point you can just throw away their survey, and if they come back, they come back. But that doesn't really happen. I don't think I've ever had anyone say that before. So that's the follow-up system. I will post this. Cool. We're down to like, I think 10 minutes left. So that's perfect. I'll post this on the page, on our Facebook Team Awesome page too. And I'll post a few more documents, the recruiting information and all of that. So lastly, did you guys print off that goal card, or do you have it there? That is, oh, everybody's muted. That is how you're going to be able to track and really, you know, first of all, actually, if you have the income track sheet in front of you, that shows you like the different income amounts that you can expect to make if you're doing those actions. So we're kind of calling the actions like your commitments. So you have your goal and then you have your commitments in order to reach that goal. So you're going to want to look at what actions or commitments match up with the income that you're striving to achieve, you know, and if you're like, don't be afraid to say, I'm going for, I think the silver, let me get into mine so I can see it. You're not going to necessarily make that income the first time you're going for it, but you are doing the actions so that income is going to be, you know, happening sooner than later. So, okay, so you're looking at, let's say the silver track, and it says if you do these actions, you're going to make $2,020 a month based on your activity. So that's 8 calls a day. When they say calls, that's basically reaching out to people. So that could be a text. It's whatever form of communication you usually do with that person, okay? So if there's somebody that you know they don't answer their phone, you're always texting, then text them. If you know you want to have a business conversation, just text them first to see if they have a few minutes to talk, and then you guys can talk on the phone, because that's probably the way you're going to reach people for the most part if you actually want to have a phone conversation, because nobody answers their phones anymore very often. Out of your 8 reaches, or connections or calls a day, you're going to want to have 2 reaches where you actually, a reach means you actually got something back from that person. So they responded to your text, or you had a conversation with them, or whatever. So those are what the reaches are. This is all outlined also on that sheet that I posted that says critical success factors at the top. All the details of those are posted or listed there. Sorry, I'm starting to get a little bit tired. Okay, and then dated one-on-ones would be, okay, so Amy, when I texted you and said, hey, I was just wondering if there's a time we could talk, and then you said yeah, and then we came up with a time to talk, that's a dated one-on-one, okay? And then a one-on-one run means that it actually took place. So same, when we talked, or Kelly, when you and I talked on the phone, whether we made an appointment to talk to each other or not, we talked one-on-one about Wild Tree. That's a one-on-one run. It means it actually took place. And then your retail sales, I like it that they break it down per week. Obviously, when you're just getting started, you're trying to build the momentum to get those sales. So you might not have those sales. You might be a little heavier on the end of the month than you will be on the beginning of the month, because you're working on inviting and all that stuff. Totally fine. But I think it really boils down to an average of, you know, $625 in sales a week is what you're going to want to make sure it all averages out to. And then it would be 2 recruits a month, and then sharing, and that's 2 people joining your team. That's a really, really good, like, it's almost a good goal to shoot for having 3 so that you can be sure you have 2, you know, type of thing. It's really, really hugely consistent for your business if you're always recruiting 2 people a month, but at the very least, at least 1 person. So you're always consistently building your team, because the rule of thumb is you're going to have 1/3 of your people are going to be new. So the 1/3 will be coming, 1/3 will be staying, and 1/3 will be leaving. And that's just the nature of this business. But it's also kind of a beautiful part of it, because you're never really going to get to a point where your area is saturated, because a third of the people that joined are going to be leaving people's teams too, because life happens, things happen, whatever, circumstances change. That's just the way it goes. So never think, I mean, that's why Mary Kay is still in business and they're still recruiting people all the time, you know, because people still continue to leave. We just have a better opportunity right now because we have it like basically a wide open market to work with. So it just makes it even easier to recruit for sure. And then referrals, just asking for referrals. So if you could get 5 referrals a week, I know that sounds like a lot, but honestly, all of us could probably think of, you know, I mean, it'd be real easy if someone asked us for a referral to think of somebody who Wild Tree would be great for. So if someone would have asked us that question, I think it would have been really easy to say, oh yeah, my sister would love this, or my, you know, somebody. So just getting those referrals. And then they're just saying, share the app once a day. So, you know, just text somebody new and say, hey, will you download the Wild Tree Meals app and check it out? Here's my referral code. You can get a discount on your first purchase in your first 30 days with that. So, okay. So those are the commitments or action steps that you're going to take that will match up with whatever basically income track you're choosing. And I would recommend, honestly, if you guys are trying to go for a team leader, I would be leaning more towards making 10 connections a day than 8. It sounds like a lot, but you can take a chunk of 20 to 30 minutes and you can pound out 10 connections. It does not take very much time because most of it's texting and most people don't even respond. So then it's a matter of following up with those people a couple days later. A lot of times you're retexting the same person, you know, 4 times before you actually reach them. So you're just filtering them through over and over through your calls. So maybe you're going to call them, you know, 2 or 3 days later, then you're going to call or text, you know, them again 2 to 3 days later, and then eventually you're going to be able to connect with them. Keeping in mind, people read your text, they might mean to get back to you, but they got busy with their kids and then they totally spaced it, and then they got 12 other text messages after yours, so they forgot it was even. That happens to me sometimes with month-end stuff with the team, and it's like, oh crap, I didn't get back to her. So you just have to remember that people don't mean to not get back to you, they just are busy too. And then let's see here. Okay. Oh, so basically I was just saying you might want to be, and even in the beginning, you're going to be reaching out to probably more than 10 people in the beginning, because you're just like on a rampage to try to get your books where you want, you know, or get your calendar where you want it. So those are some really great guides. You can use that gold card that you printed off to just track that. I'm watching the time here. So you're just going to track on Monday, how many calls or connections did you make? How many did you reach? It's kind of fun because as the week goes on, you start to see you're reaching more people because people are starting to get back to you from your earlier contacts in the week. And I found that on Sunday afternoon or evening, I get like the most like reaches. They're responding to me from like everybody I connected with all week because they finally had time to like, you know, just get their life together, do their weekend, and now they're thinking about like their plans for the future and stuff. We have less than a minute to go on here. So I think we hit all the stuff that you guys wanted to hit. But ultimately, the analyzing portion is just looking at those commitments or action steps that you took and then seeing what needs to be worked on or changed so that you just keep going through that prosperity circle. Then get really excited about your vision, you know, and just kind of just keep on moving through that prosperity circle with all of the stuff that we talked about. And you'll just keep going forward. So with less than a minute, is there any last questions or thoughts that you guys have?
No, thank you so much, Yota.
Okay, you're welcome. I hope it was helpful. Oh, your prize. Okay. Amy, you're going to get a little chalkboard too.
Thank you. So, I like it.
Yeah, so you'll be able to put your little app code out. And Molly, I'll bring you a prize. I think she's on mute, but I'll bring Molly and Robin a prize. I'll give them so that all of you guys who are on live get something fun. Yeah, so it's going to cut us off, but thanks you guys for being on. And if you think of any questions, you can always type them on Team Awesome, like maybe underneath of this Zoom link, because that way everybody who is on it maybe will get to see the question and answer going on. And good job, and you're awesome. And I'm so excited to get to work with you guys all the time. So,
well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a great weekend, you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.